Hey everyone, welcome to POPXP. And before the show starts, make sure to click that subscribe button and click the bell to get notifications when we go live and we upload awesome new content. And don't forget, if you can, make sure to share our stream on all your social media outlets. We appreciate it, and thanks for helping us grow the POPXP channel. Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's the brain of the mainframe here, Niall Scott with POPXP, and joining me tonight is a magnificent specimen of a man, an intelligent man, a brain of pop culture. Mr. Blevins Newman, how are you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing great. I was wondering who you were talking about. I was like, I thought it was just me and you.
What? Oh, come on. Doing the humble stumble over here.
Oh, my God.
Look at you. Mr. Blevins, how are we doing? How are we doing?
Been great. Spent some of my hard-earned money this week. Bought myself a brand new boomerang.
Oh, nice.
Yes. And I went to go throw the old one away and just can't get rid of it.
I know. Those things, man.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, you try to get rid of it and they come back. It's unreal.
It's
unreal. Hang on.
Yeah, it's
the
crazy.
Crickets like that one. The Crickets loved that one.
Yeah.
So tonight, as you know,
that one killed at the daycare earlier today.
I bet.
Killed.
It's like a grandpa joke. I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Hey, hungry. I'm grandpa. Jeez, grandpa, I need to eat. Half hour goes by. But as you guys may know, we got Blevins on with us tonight. Billy is working on a few things with the new campaign that they're getting prepped, technical difficulties that I have to work out with their IT and stuff and whatnot with Indiegogo. So he will maybe popping on later, maybe midway, who knows. But Blevins is taking the helm for him, and we have just a crazy night. I'm very excited for our two guests, man. It is just a mad night, just madness. And this is cool. I have to tell you how this all began, because I was on Twitter, right? And you know, Twitter, you get stuck in that Twitter well, falling, scrolling.
Absolutely.
I happened to see something. I was like, Claptrap, what's that? And then I looked at it, and I saw the creators, and the names were familiar. And I saw MAD Magazine. Then I saw the parodies, and I was like, oh my gosh, what is this? And I said, it's an Indiegogo. Who's this? Oh, I gotta reach out, and I did, and I got a response.
You made it happen.
Tonight, that response blossomed into the flower that is tonight's episode of POPXP. And Blevins, without further ado, I need to bring these two gentlemen in. So first and foremost, let's please welcome MAD Magazine writer, Mr. Desmond Devlin.
What's up?
Welcome, Desmond. How are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Pleasure to have you here. And one of the finest men to hit the pages of MAD Magazine just disappeared backstage, so hopefully he'll be back soon. We just lost our second guest, so we'll pop him back in once we get here. We misplaced him. Well, for those that know, we magic. The finest, one of the finest pencils to hit the pages of MAD Magazine, Mr. Tom Richmond.
Hey, made it.
You did it.
All right.
I had some technical
We
difficulties.
did it.
You did it, sir.
We did.
That was kind of funny because I'm all right, there he is. Okay.
All right.
And Desmond was like, he's ruining this.
I panicked.
You had one job.
I saw nothing but black screens and there was no sound, and I thought, something is definitely not right here. I better jump out and jump back in. So we're all good though.
Good. Excellent. Well, gentlemen, we are so happy to have you here tonight. As you know, we are huge fans of MAD Magazine, huge fans of your work. So are many of our viewers out there. We've got some great feed from them. Very excited to see you guys on the show. And, thank you for coming on. This is going to be exciting.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having us. It's been looking forward to it all day.
Fantastic. So tell us about us too.
Yeah, we've been talking about it all day long. He's like, "Let's quit calling me. I'm at work."
I was like, hey, I got this, and we can do this. I'm like, all right, man, all right.
I got a MAD Magazine board game, dude, just for the show tonight.
I have MAD Magazine toilet paper.
Yeah, I have one of those.
Really?
Yes. A MAD Magazine toilet paper. It's real toilet paper.
It's got the little panels, right?
Yeah, it's all the panels on like a full roll of toilet paper.
See, you're best of both worlds there. You're using it for all the correct purposes, to read and also, the other bit.
You're just like, oh wow, that's hilarious. Fold. But starting with Tom, please tell us about yourself, man. How did you get into the world of MAD Magazine and just that whole genre?
Oh wow. all I ever wanted to do was draw as a kid, and I loved comics. I was fans of a particular superhero. Can't remember which one exactly. I don't know if there's
Spider-Man.
any clues behind me. No, Batman, of course. Batman was. And as a kid, I loved Batman comics. I see, yeah.
I hate Spider-Man. It's just a cool book.
And so I drew my own comics for the longest time, and then I went to school for art at the University of Minnesota, actually, and I was skipping class one day, and I answered an ad to get a job as a caricature artist at a theme park. And that was my summer job. And I read Mad as a kid. I loved Mad as a kid, but then I kind of got away from it. And then when I was working this job, I lived in an apartment with like 6 other caricature artists. We all like communal down there and all went to the park and drew every day. And they had all these stacks of old Mads. And I was looking through them going, wow, was the artwork this brilliant back when I was reading it as a kid? And sure enough, Jack Davis, Mort Drucker, Wally Wood. I mean, the list goes on and on about the artists that work for MAD. And then I said, hey, I want to work for MAD. And, it only took me about 20 years to break in. So there you go.
Wow.
Now, how long did you work for them?
I worked for them for exactly 20 years. This month in 2000 was my first issue that I appeared in.
Oh, awesome.
So, yeah. And how I actually got into MAD is a little bit of a funny story, because I actually worked for Cracked magazine first.
Nice.
Which was the MAD ripoff magazine, right? And I showed my work to MAD, and they were like very, very nice about it. Sam Viviano was the art director, just had become art director at the time. And he looked at my stuff and he said, yeah, your stuff is great, but, just not quite MAD worthy yet, so keep on working on your stuff. I said, okay. So I started working for Cracked, and I did movie and TV parodies for them. And every time I got done with a parody, I would send it to Sam and show him, this is my latest stuff, and he'd get back to me and say, yeah, things are really improving. Well, finally, after four parodies I did for Cracked, I showed my latest one, which was of the movie Gladiator with Russell Crowe. And I showed it to Sam in person. I was in New York for a National Cartoon Society event. And he was looking at it. He goes, okay, yeah, all right. Well, this is exactly what we like to see. And I think you'd be great in MAD, but I got to tell you, I can't promise when I'll get you work, because we've got our stable of guys and artists, and I don't know when I'll be able to get you a job. And then he said, there's also a problem. You can't be in Cracked and MAD at the same time.
They had a compete clause? Really?
No, they didn't. But that was just sort of a thing,
You want to use
you couldn't have a byline in both magazines.
When did Cracked start, though? When did Cracked magazine start?
58, something like that, 58, 56.
Yeah.
Cracked
I mean, they've been around for a long time.
Yeah.
But it was just an unwritten rule, that you didn't have a byline in both magazines. So I said to Sam, well, that's no problem. I don't work for Cracked anymore. And he goes, well, when did that happen? I said, 3 seconds ago. And he's like, wait a minute. I don't know when I'll be able to get you a job. I said, that's okay. I just got told I got called up to the big leagues from AA. So I'll wait for my chance off the bench. And I got a job from him about a month later, and
literally knocked it out of the park. literally knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, so it was great, working with especially the New York version of MAD, and Nick Meglin was still there at the time, and so it was very much the Bill Gaines era MAD still when I started there in 2000. So it was a great time to jump on board.
Was your first work the American Pie stuff? Was that what it was? Your first wasn't it didn't you do an American Pie parody?
I wrote an American Pie parody, which but I think there were 3 different artists who did that. It was 3 movies about 2 pages apiece, and I think Bill Ray did one. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I'm not sure if Tom did that.
No, I didn't. I did a couple of just gag pieces at first, and my first parody was Malcolm in the Middle, which you wrote. Des.
That's right. I did write that.
Nice.
Yeah, nice. Malcontents in a muddle or something like that.
Yeah, Malcontents in a muddle.
Now, Desmond, how did you get in with MAD?
Oh, well, I started reading MAD real early. I was about 8 years old. And when I was a kid, I used to draw my own full issues of MAD, like write articles and stuff. So I was about 10 years old. I kind of wanted to work for MAD when I grew up. So I've had a very flatline kind of career. Anyway, so when I was in high school, I used to do humor magazine, 12 pages a month. I'd sell it to other students or the teachers. Dang. And towards the end of high school, I said, well, let me, call MAD and see, if there's anything I can do. Show them this stuff. So I call up the office. I say, blah, blah, hi, I'm Desmond Devlin. I'd like to show my work. Can I come in sometime and see someone? I said, yes. He said, okay, come in tomorrow. I said, well, I can't come in tomorrow. I've got school. I'm actually high school students. I said, okay, we're coming the day after tomorrow. So I cut class the day after tomorrow, and I went in, showed them the stuff. It's pretty juvenile stuff, but I think they was probably more impressed with the fact that I was keeping a monthly schedule and producing, page after page after page, more than the actual contents of the pages themselves. And so John Ficarra, who was an associate editor at that time, but later became the editor-in-chief, took an interest in me and, said, send the stuff to me directly and whatever. And so it took a while, but I was 19, I sold my first piece, and I've been, working there ever since. So.
Oh, wow. Jesus. Now, is that like a staff? Are you actually on the MAD staff, or are you all kind of like piecework?
I was there for 36 years, never was a job. Everything was on a freelance basis.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. That's incredible. So when did you actually start? What was the year you started with them?
19. Well, the first thing I had published was 1984. Okay.
Fantastic. You know what, Desmond?
What?
You have been writing for MAD as long as I've been on this planet.
Oh,
there you go. Now, with
hi, Wendy.
Hey, Wendy Bucci.
Hi, Tom.
Now, that's Bill Gaines' daughter.
Oh, no.
Right.
Well, hello then.
Hello.
So, with the writing for MAD and the drawing and stuff, and with everything that's happened now, is what is the state of MAD Magazine right now?
Well, trouble. They've gone to a mostly reprint format. There was a lot of cutbacks at MAD, at DC in general. AT&T bought Warner, and a lot of departments had to cut stuff. So the people lost their jobs, and they've turned MAD into it's a few new pages per issue, but it's mostly reprints, and they try to do it by theme. So they'll do like all comics or all horror or whatever. And it's still available. They're still publishing it. There's a new issue out now. There's a Sergio issue coming out later, but it's a lot of Sergio reprints that are going to be in it. And you can't get it at newsstands anymore. They canceled the distribution there, so you can only get it at comic stores or subscription. And so MAD still exists, but it's not the MAD people we're used to.
Are they doing their own distribution?
It's a comic book distribution, so I'm sure it's with all the DC comics as well.
Well, yeah, so it's probably being distributed by DC and whatever avenues they're doing. So is this like a way to? You think they're? And I hate to get too much in the business of it. I'm just curious because I don't know that much. Do you think it's a way that they're still going to phase it out?
Your guess is as good as mine.
MAD's a good brand name for them. And they have this huge library of material that they own. So part of what they're doing is using it to fill the issues. But the sales can't be too good. They cut their national distribution. So I think it's already getting the cost so low that it's printable. I don't really know the business end too much of it in that sense. But clearly they're having some trouble right now.
Gotcha. Well, I know they spent a lot of time when they did the reboot trying to come up with IP, for MAD, which is one of the problems with the magazine, because unlike most comics, they can't make a movie out of movie spoofs. Right. So it's that isn't the same kind of a product that they're used to doing, and so I guess they just decided, well, we've got this huge 60-year backlog of all this work. We'll just reprint it and introduce that stuff to a new generation of readers, maybe, which, isn't exactly a horrible thing, but there's no new stuff. MAD's always been making fun of the world today. I don't know how big the Spiro Agnew jokes are going to go over now. They might be a little dated.
Yeah, they've always reprinted stuff, all the specials and all the, paperback books, but they were still producing the full magazine material, every 45 days. And now they're doing the reprints without the magazine in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, you think with today's climate, with the way things kind of are politically and how the country is, do you think it would be a hard time to do some parodies and spoofs if MAD was doing their traditional lineup of new material?
I don't think so. I mean, MAD's always good, gone after everybody. So, certainly people might take offense to who you're going after, but they always did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they definitely had some things printed in MAD in the past that I don't think they would let fly these days.
I doubt they reprint that.
Yeah.
Even said, actually, here he goes. Anyone going to comment about the disclosure? The vintage pieces reprinted in this issue were produced in a time that was less mindful.
For
yeah,
sure.
They have that at the beginning of the issues right now, but there's I have noticed that they have gone in and done some editing of some of the stuff where they change the words or do something to scrub it, a little bit so it might not offend anybody. You can't do comedy and not, and say, gee, I can't offend anybody. You're not going to have. It's going to be tough.
I think that's a corporate thing they're doing too, as far as the language you can use or whatever. And they're sort of back applying it retroactively to some of the material.
Yeah. Go ahead, Beloved. Sorry.
Do you think it could work in a digital format, like maybe something like with the new writers, like maybe an Onion, or even bring in some animators, do something kind of like How It Should Have Ended or something like that in a parody sense?
I mean, possibly, but it just takes you have to pay for that. You have to pay people to create the material. You got to pay for the infrastructure to put it up online or to distribute it, and that's what they were less and less willing to do because it wasn't giving them the return.
Are they separate from the TV show? Are they separate from the TV shows?
Yeah. I think there was almost no crossover between the TV show and the magazine.
Not the live action TV show.
Right. Well, that's true.
They did have some Spy versus Spy cartoons at the beginning. And they actually did, if I remember right, they did like movie parodies and TV show parodies on the show. So they did a live version of it, of a MAD spoof sort of, but it didn't last very long. Actually, I thought the Cartoon Network show was more relatable to the magazine than the live action one was.
Well, the live action was more like a set, like a competitor of like Saturday Night Live. It was comedy.
They used it as a brand name so that people would immediately get the idea what the show was.
I actually enjoyed MAD. I liked it. I didn't think it was a bad sketch comedy show. But besides like MAD Magazine and stuff that you guys are very notable for and things of that nature, what are some other things that you guys have worked on in your careers? We can start with you, Desmond.
Oh, let's see. Well, I used to do a lot of work for a bunch of the Viacom channels like MTV, VH1, Nickelodeon. Writing on various shows, doing some ads. That was another one. There's a TV show called Remote Control. It's a game show.
Yes, Ken Over.
Ken Over, Colin Quinn,
Adam Sandler. Adam Sandler.
Dennis Leary was on that.
Dennis Leary,
So I was watching the show one day. I used to watch the show from time to time, and I was watching one day, and I was sitting there saying, this is funny. I could write this stuff. And then, being a bright guy, about 10 minutes later, I said, oh, wait a minute. I could write this stuff. Maybe I should find out if they'll let me write this stuff. So it's same thing happened with me. I basically called MTV and got my way through the and they sent it, and I sent them some sample material, and they called me in mostly because they knew I worked for MAD. They said, well, if you work for MAD, we should at least talk to him. And so I got a job on Remote Control, and I ended up doing a bunch of different series and projects for a while. Basically, until MTV stopped using writing staffs. They found it cheaper to film things and just edit it after the fact. So,
that's
that was definitely pretty. That was a great show. Like that was my favorite show I worked on. They were going to try to reboot it before he died.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, kind of sucks. They just didn't want to do it without Ken back again.
Yeah, I worked for a couple seasons on MTV, and they did a syndicated season too, so I was on that.
Crazy.
I didn't know that.
A few other shows that probably wouldn't resonate as well with the other that lasted less time.
Remote Control was a game show, guys.
Yeah,
Right.
on MTV.
It was great. It happened in a guy's basement. It was,
Like Wayne's World?
yeah.
When
Just
they throw them backwards.
Just like Wayne's World.
That's great.
And what did you work for MTV for a long time after that, or was it just Remote Control?
No, I worked on a lot of stuff. I mean, I actually got paid to write some Beavis and Butthead stuff that I'm sure was never used because
Oh my God.
when they was first starting the show Beavis and Butthead, and I heard it, and basically they got, I believe if I got the story right, they finished 2 episodes of it, but they've been promoting that they were going to start the show. So I think the week it was supposed to start, they only had 2 episodes in the can. So they showed the first one on Monday, second one on Tuesday. They showed the first one again Wednesday, showed the second one again Thursday. They showed the first one for the third time on Friday. And then they took it off the air for a while, and they sort of put out an emergency. We need scripts. So I got swept up in that and wrote a few, but I got paid. I don't know if they ever got used. I kind of think they did. So I'm very, very, very quasi writer for that show.
Maybe you can get your scripts back. For his reboot, the Beavis and Butthead reboot.
That's what they have them somewhere. They may not know it. It may be like the end of Indiana Jones in a box somewhere, but they have them.
I'm surprised.
It's gonna be like 1994 all over again. We're gonna have Ren and Stimpy back, Beavis and Butthead. I mean, I forget what else they're trying to reboot right now, but it's like everything from like 1992 to like 1995. They're trying to reboot.
With you getting pulled to do some stuff for Beavis and Butthead, did they ever try to drag you over to like Liquid Television or anything like Dog Boy or Aeon or any of that stuff?
I might have known 1 or 2 people worked there, but it was not. They weren't interested in me, or it wasn't the same part of the building. I don't know what happened. So.
That's still pretty awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that is neat. Now, Tom, what about yourself?
Well, I'm a freelancer, so I've done a lot of work for a lot of different clients, some really weird stuff, and not stuff that people may or may not have ever heard of. That's the dirty little secret of freelancers, is you make most of your income from doing work for magazines and clients very few people have ever heard of. But I started out, my very first job in published work was doing a comic book called Married with Children for Now Comics. Out of Chicago.
Yes.
And it was based on the TV show. So I did caricatures of them. Actually, if I were to ever win the lottery, I would take a significant amount of that money and attempt to buy back all the issues of Married with Children that still exist in the world right now so that I could burn them.
Wow. I was on board. I was on board with you there for a second. I'm like, oh, this is.
Lozen's like, oh, I love Married with Children.
You took a dark turn there, Tom.
Yeah,
first I was talking about the portrait he did of you, Blevins.
I was
I guess
19. I was 19 years old, just a kid, and it was in the late 90s or late 80s, early 90s. So it was at a time when there were a lot of comics, and you could get jobs doing comics without really having the skills to do it, frankly. So I kind of learned on the job with that comic book, but I was getting the hang of it towards the end of my run with them, and I did a mini series for Marvel called The Coneheads, which was a 4-issue miniseries, and that was kind of a sequel to the movie that they did back in the early 90s, like 93, 94. And that was a really fun project. Actually, Marie Severin inked my work.
Oh.
Yeah, and
she was MAD #1.
I know. I was super thrilled by that. I mean, I was like, "Oh my God, Marie Severin!" And so that was a lot of fun, and I was proud of that. That turned out pretty good. And then I've done work over the years I worked for Crack for a while, like I said. I do some work for Jeff Dunham, the comedian.
Oh, nice. Yeah, the ventriloquist.
Yeah, I've designed a couple of his puppets, and I've done a lot of like his stuff that you see on his T-shirts and stuff. That's my work. I did a little animation work for that Mad show on the Cartoon Network. Did a lot of design work for that. Done work for Sports Illustrated Kids, National Geographic, World, a lot of kids magazines, Scholastic, that sort of thing. So stay busy, and I do a lot of little odd jobs here and there, and You know, MAD's the one everybody's heard of. So whenever somebody says, "So what do you do for a living?" I work for MAD Magazine. Although nobody makes a living working for MAD Magazine.
Now, comics legend. So it's fun. Billy's gonna kick himself because whenever he brings up a movie, he's like, he always asks, "Have you seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?" He's like, still in love with that movie. So you did
his favorite.
Your work was shown in that.
Yeah, that was one of those weird jobs that just kind of come along. And what happened was I got contacted by the prop master of that movie, and they wanted to hire somebody to do a TV guide cover, like a 60s style TV guide cover. And they were looking for somebody that could, you know, do a reasonably decent Jack Davis impersonation with the artwork. Mm-hmm. So they ended up calling me about it, and I talked to him and I said, sure, I could do that. I'm not real thrilled with totally aping somebody else's style like that. Yeah. But, you know, if that's what they needed for that look and for that prop, it was just going to hang on the wall in Leo's house, you know, his character's house. But the funny thing was, I was talking to the guy, and he was explaining that while the show was supposed to have been really famous, you know, he was really famous at that time, and we're supposed to show how famous he was, and now he isn't famous anymore. So that's the whole idea. And I said, well, if that show was so famous, MAD should have done a parody of it and had a MAD cover too. And the guy goes, yeah, we should have a MAD cover of that show. So then the next thing you know, he pitches that to Tarantino, who's a huge MAD fan. So he went nuts. And so I ended up doing a MAD cover and a TV guide cover for that. And both of them were in the movie. In fact, the MAD cover got a nice shot in the movie. They zoomed right in on it.
And right across it.
Yeah. So that was great. I got a credit in a Quentin Tarantino movie. So check that off the bucket list. And yeah, he was thrilled that we did it. And then MAD then decided they were going to do something with it. So they took that cover and actually made it the cover of the magazine. And we did a spoof of the TV show that never existed in the magazine. And we did it in a 60s style. Like I did the old craft tint sort of, you know, shading and stuff like they would have done in the 60s at the time.
Yep.
And they made the whole thing look like a retro. The whole beginning of the magazine looks like a 60s version with the old table of contents, and they even yellowed the edges of the pages and stuff. And it was a lot of fun to do that. It was really cool. And Quentin was really thrilled about that. He showed it off on the Jimmy Kimmel show. And so it was neat. Yeah.
What a great upsell. They call you for one thing. You're like, hey, let me show you what I do.
Oh, and it gets better because he wanted me to actually paint them, not do a digital version.
Oh, wow.
So, because he wanted the authentic look, right? So I had to drag out the watercolors, which I hardly ever do anymore. So I painted them up, but I said, well, I'll do that. And then he wanted the originals. And I said, I'll do that, but I get to hand deliver them.
Nice.
So I went on the set of the movie and I gave him the art, and we sat and chatted about MAD for like about a half hour. He was super cool and totally stoked about the MAD cover and everything. It was fun.
Tom Richmond, master negotiator. That's awesome.
That's incredible, man. But hey, you know, speaking of, you know, the parodies, MAD Magazine, I mean, we have you gentlemen here tonight because you've got something awesome in the works that's up on Indiegogo. And, you know, you got to tell us about how this came to be, that we have a Claptrap, a hardcover collection of movie parodies in a classic humorous vein. How did this project come to be, gentlemen?
Well, I think
take it away, Des.
I was going to say, basically, MAD stopped doing parodies. This was the big impulse. And we always like working together. We've done a lot of stuff, you know, I wrote an article for Tom 20 years ago, and he drew an article of mine 20 years ago. So we've been, you know, doing this for a long time. But basically, when MAD started cutting back on how many new pages they would do per issue, I mean, if you're only running a few pages, you can't take 6 pages or 7 pages and do a full parody. So the parodies just stopped. And we like doing parodies, and we grew up on these parodies. We learned, you know, in a lot of ways how to write and draw in some facets with these parodies and the other articles. And we said, well, if we don't make these parodies, no one's ever going to make them. They're just going to stop. And we didn't like that, and we also like to do work that people will see and enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice to get paid for it once in a while. So there are a lot of incentives to keep this going and see how many people felt the same way about not having the tradition continue.
Nice. That's great, man. I love that. And there's such some great images and stuff in here. And what we love to do here on POPXP when we're showing off these campaigns is we love to play the campaign video for everyone. So we'll just take a couple minutes and we'll check this out. It's a funny video. It's a great video. And I think it's a good introduction to start talking about this campaign. So let's check out Claptrap on Indiegogo.
Hi, I'm writer Desmond Devlin.
And I'm artist Tom Richmond.
Tom and I have been parodying movies together for exactly 20 years.
Over those 2 decades with MAD Magazine, Des has written the most movie and TV parodies, and I've drawn the most. We've worked together a lot.
I love when Tom draws anything I write because his art really makes me go pop on the page. His caricatures are so precise, but his style is so loose and so funny.
Working on Des's scripts was always a treat. They were always clever and snappy and laugh out loud hilarious. And that made the art end of things a lot more fun.
The kinds of parodies we do started in the 1950s, and they've given us a silly and satiric look at the history of American culture.
Over the years, these parodies have become their own comics genre and a unique part of American culture until the final one is print last year.
Everybody knows what a tough time it is for print comedy, but Tom and I don't want to see this great humorous tradition die.
That's where you come in. Because there aren't publications creating and printing these parodies anymore, Des and I decided to do them ourselves.
We're creating an all-new hardcover book of movie parodies, including some big old favorites that you guys love, but for whatever reason, were never parodied.
Those lucky movies managed to escape our pens. Until now. The title of our book is Claptrap. And the first movie we're doing is Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker.
MAD spoofed 8 Star Wars movies in a row. That's everyone except for the finale. Come on, somebody's got to finish the saga. And as you can see, we've already done it.
Des and I never missed a deadline in 20 years together on these parodies for MAD, and we aren't about to miss any deadlines now. With your backing, this book will get done.
Tom and I have begun the work, but the two of us can't finish the project without your help. Please allow us to keep the classic parody format alive.
We promise to deliver you a book we know you'll enjoy, and for those who want more than just the book, we have plenty of snazzy extra perks to choose from.
That's great, man. That is so cool.
Bravo.
Bravo.
Yeah.
That shower theme was steamy.
I like it.
I got to give a shout out to my son-in-law, Leaf Sundberg, who helped me put that video together. Did a lot of the editing and stuff. Leaf is an American Ninja Warrior, actually. What? Like for real on his on the TV show. And so he does a lot of video stuff for his he sends in videos to like apply for the different seasons, and he knows what he's doing. So he helped a lot with that. And then the little animation that was done with our title was done by a good friend of ours, Heather Steckley. So we had some people that really helped us out with that. And I just wanted to give him a quick shout out. Thank you.
Oh, awesome, man. And JC Vaughn here. I just backed this one. It looks phenomenal. Billy's going to be so sad that he wasn't on this show. I know he texted me too. He's like, dude, call me after the show.
He's great shape.
This is so great. So viewers out there that are watching this live, that may be watching this recorded in the future, you gotta do a favor. You gotta back the book, or let's share it, because that's the best thing to do for independent publications and creators. You can just share it on your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter, and just send it out there. You may not be able to back it this time around. We know funds may be tight, but however, you may know one person, you may know 25 people that would love to back this project. So please start spreading the word of Claptrap wherever you can.
Sharing is caring.
Claptrap. Sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring.
How many parodies are going to be in this book?
Well, we're starting with a base of 10.
Jinx.
And then we're going to like if we reach our goal, we'll have some stretch goals to add maybe another 2. I think our goal is to have it shipping by like November, about this time next year, October, November. So I don't think we could do more than 12 between now and then and still manage to hit that deadline. Yeah. But I think 12 is a possible number, but for sure 10. And interestingly enough, when Des and I started this, we thought, well, we wanted to do a bunch of new movies and things that are coming out. There was a lot of big films that were supposed to come out this year, and then all this COVID stuff started happening, and there aren't any movies. So where we were going to do like a mix, maybe half and half of classic movies that had never been parodied and half new movies, probably going to be a lot more classics now, and maybe only 1 or 2 new movies if they ever finally start coming out.
Yeah, we'll work with whatever we have. We did a parody of the movie A Christmas Story about 2 years ago. And that came out in like 1985 or something. And MAD never did a parody of it back in the day. It wasn't a hit movie then, and it really became the movie people love so much just from being on TBS, 12 times a day, for every year.
I sit there the whole time and watch it all day long.
Exactly. Everybody knows the scenes back to back. They know what's going to happen next. When it actually came out, it just sort of came and went in the theater. So the idea of going back and reaching back and finding these movies that got overlooked. Sometimes they got overlooked because they weren't as successful. Sometimes it's just a matter of timing, where MAD didn't happen to do it. They had other parodies scheduled and there wasn't room for it. So there's a lot of very well-known, very much favorite movies that didn't get done. So we have a good list to choose from.
That's awesome. So you sent me a couple images, Tom, if you don't mind, if I can show some of those.
Sure, yeah.
So now what you sent me, these are what they can expect in the book?
Well, I think I sent you the Star Wars. That's the splash page. So that's actually from the book. That's our first parody that we've already got done. Rise of Skywalker. And I think the other ones I showed you were just Des and my work from MAD. So that was from MAD.
That's from the magazine.
Yeah, that's from MAD Magazine. So cool. These are just some of the other ones we've done over the years from the magazine itself. So these are already published and they won't be in the book. All new work in the book. There won't be any reprints of anything in there.
Yeah, right. Your art is just ridiculous, man. It's freaking ridiculous. I love it. It is a fact. Have you done any Star Trek stuff?
Not for MAD. I don't think I've ever done a caricature of any of the Trek cast, even for like a gag thing. I can't remember doing it. But
Tarantino,
can you bring up?
Call you up. He's going to call you up and be like, hey,
which one do you want to bring up?
Bring up that Aquaman one again, because I'll tell you something funny about that. So, my wife has only ever asked me to do 2 things with my work in MAD. One, she asked me to draw her as Matilda Hopkirk in one of the Harry Potter movies, just randomly. Like whoever the poor lady was that actually played Matilda Hopkirk didn't appear in MAD. Yeah, because my wife usurped her role in the parody. And the other thing was she wanted me to have her name tattooed on Jason Momoa. So it's tough to see, but
is it in the heart?
No, it's on it's down his abs on the side of his. It says Anna reversed out in the one of his black stripes going down his abs there. Yeah. So, yeah, I acquiesced and did that for her, but I'm comfortable enough with my marriage that I don't think I have to worry about Jason swooping in and stealing her from me.
Well, good thing you bought that Aquaman outfit.
I need the rubber muscles to pull it off. I can't do the tattooed.
That's cool. So for each parody, how many pages is each parody going to be in the book? And really, what is the process for doing a parody?
Well, we're going to do some of the parodies going to be longer than typically the MAD parodies are average about 6 pages. Sometimes they're longer, sometimes they're shorter. I wrote a 4-page parody of the Blair Witch Project once. So, we're going to take advantage of the book to spread out some of the parodies a little more, open up the art a bit. And it's really a case by case basis. We'll find it depends how many jokes you can think of and how each parody looks once you start shorting it out on the pages, like how which scenes you want to do and how much time do you take and how much space do you take.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And on the art end, Des writes the script and then he gives it to me. And usually we have the MAD, editorial process and the MAD production art process. So we have to do all that work now. So I have to lay it out and get all the word boxes and stuff put in place, and then I draw around them. So we're doing a little extra work. Des has to edit himself, which must be a challenge because he probably thinks of all these jokes and he wants to use them all, but I can't write a 4-page parody. So he has to kind of pick and choose, and when I'm doing the art, I gotta work it around the word balloons, and Des writes jokes that have visual elements to them that I need to make sure I include those and sell the gag, with what's going on in the panel, and then we kind of work together to come up with little background gags, and the chicken fat, as they call it in MAD. You'll see a lot of that in this book. What you won't see is typical MAD staples, like there won't be any marginals. We're taking the format in terms of like how Crack took the format and how Sick took the format, Crazy. They all those MAD sort of knockoff magazines did movie and TV parodies as well in a comic book storytelling format. But you won't see obviously any of MAD's trademark stuff, like no Alfred E. Newmans or anything like that. It's just going to be us.
How about Blevins E. Newmans?
We might be able to work a Blevins E. Newman in there.
Yes.
With the golden smile and the coiffed hair.
Right.
Now, let me ask you. So I see it says on Indiegogo that's your first campaign. Now, is this truly your guys' first crowdfunded campaign?
Yes.
It is. And second, are you guys doing this yourself? Or are you working with another company or anything to help fulfill this? Or is this strictly just the two of you?
All ourselves. We're working more to promote the book now than we are to actually create the book. We can't wait to get back to work.
Yeah.
That's what
it's a full-time job, man.
Yeah. That's a legitimate question, but I have
really
self-published a bunch of books that I just didn't crowdfund. And my big one is The Mad Art of Caricature, which is my How to Draw Caricature book. I published that in 2011, and there are 35,000 copies in print over 10 or 11 printings, and I've fulfilled everything. I do have a distributor who here in Minneapolis who does all the fulfillment for brick and mortar stuff. So Baker and Taylor and Ingram and the wholesalers that end up selling it to Barnes and Noble and those places, they do that. But I do all the fulfillment with Amazon. People order it directly from me, and I do all. My wife is shipping and handling. So we've got quite a production here, and I order 3,500 copies of that book every year, basically. So I'm very familiar with the process of publishing a book and distributing a book and doing all that stuff. So we got the nuts and bolts figured out.
Yeah, it's completely new to me. I had a little anxiety about it, but knowing that Tom's had success with very similar things, just without the crowdfunding aspect, calms me down a bit. I mean, I haven't done anything like this since I was writing that humor magazine in high school and selling it hand by hand to people. And it's a little more elevated and complicated.
Now doing something like this, we speak to a lot of creators, and especially mainstream creators, guys that have been, working on, very notable stuff. A lot of them say, and I wonder if this attests to you guys, it kind of like doing the crowdfunding and doing your own thing like this kind of almost helps rejuvenate some of the passion. It's like a new thrill. Do you guys feel any of that with this project? Yeah.
I didn't know that I would, but yeah, it's exciting to see that people share the same interest in the format, in MAD history that we do. When you're writing the magazine, it's a professional thing. I write it, he draws it, it goes out. You get some feedback, but not so much. We would never get, hundreds of people telling us, "Oh, I like that article you did last month." Yeah. But we have hundreds of people saying, "We like the articles you did some months ago so much that we're going to buy your next one." And you really want to, please those people. You want to give them something you know they're going to like, and you put your best work forward at every turn. It's great.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think that it's definitely a huge motivator just to see people, you know, getting behind this project and being enthusiastic about it. And I can't wait to, you know, hopefully we get things funded and we take off.
You will. And I mean, this is just starting, especially with like the streams, you know. I'm sure you'll probably start having a lot more people reaching out to you to have you guys on. I mean, you're 12 people away from breaking 300 backers.
Right.
You know, I mean, you guys are, and you're, you know, now you're just slightly over $1,200 away, you know, from making your goal. Which is freaking awesome. Hopefully you guys can make that tonight. And again, people, please share. And one thing I want to ask, you know, there's two major platforms in crowdfunding. There's Kickstarter and there's Indiegogo. If you don't mind me asking, what made you guys go with the Indiegogo platform?
Well, we went back and forth about it a lot. I asked a few people that I respect that do a lot of crowdfunding stuff. And I got basically two different answers from everybody. One person was saying Kickstarter is a way to go. And I'll tell you, the thing that I think got me going with Indiegogo is the fact that it's transitions to in demand real easy afterwards. That to me just seemed like a no-brainer, because it's going to take us 10 months to do all the work to actually, and then send this thing to the printer.
Your parody is about the most labor-intensive format MAD used to run. I mean, except maybe painting a cover or something, or maybe Jaffe's fold-ins. It's just the whole layout. Think of how many caricatures Tom has to draw on one of these things.
Right.
Yeah.
They've all different expressions, different angles. It's you know.
Yeah, they're a lot of work, no question about it. So while we're doing all this, you know, we'll be able to continue to get people to jump on board, and we're planning on releasing, you know, sneak peeks and kind of doing big reveals once a month or something as to this is another movie we're doing, and then we'll show the splash page or whatever, and people go, oh, you know, that movie, I didn't even know MAD never did that one. This is going to be great. And we're going to do movies from different genres. You know, we've got you know, we're looking at all sorts of different things. So
we've about half the movies we know are going to be in the book, and we're still leaving room for maneuvering. Some of our backers are going to give their votes as which movies they'd like to see us do, and when we compile those, that, you know, they may, you know, want a movie that we, you know, hadn't had on the list yet, we'll do that. So
we also had two tiers that, frankly, I can't believe we sold them both, but they were like the super tier, you know, that you kind of put in there and go, nobody's going to buy this, you know. That was the megalomaniac tier, where you tell us what movie to do, period. And both of those were claimed. So we've got two
in less
movies
than 2 weeks.
We're
We
being
didn't
told.
know they'd go at all.
Yeah, y'all are going to be doing like fried green tomatoes.
That's what we were worried about.
Well, we were worried there would be somebody, like I was saying, it might be somebody that do this video of my bar mitzvah and parody it.
So are you guys, is this something that hopefully, if it, you know, it's obvious you're going to hit your mark.
Oh yeah.
So is this, and with you saying it's a 10-month turn time, is this kind of like an annual book that you guys would like to continue to do? And is it something that maybe like, okay, this time you do movies, maybe next time you do TV? I mean, you do have that other, you know, that yin and yang format that you guys can work on and absolutely parody, especially with TV, because there's so much TV as well. You know,
we've talked about that in a very abstract way. We want to get this book done first and see, you know, how much support it is and how much people like it. You know, if it's a good experience all the way around, you know, it's more likely than not that we would. If it's, you know, if there's problems, then, you know, we'll see.
Well, Tom,
definitely something, you know, that would have some interest if it's, you know, if people want it.
I'd love to do a TV show version.
Yeah, I think it'd be awesome.
That would be awesome.
If you don't mind, Tom, like I know, like you're, you know, you came from the caricature world. I know that you've done like tons of other art and stuff. You know, knowing that you're a big, huge Batman fan, and you know that was, you know, something that helped you go, you know, helped you boost you into wanting to draw and do all that. Like, are you possibly willing to maybe try to reach out? Like, I don't want to be taboo, because, you know, it's really bad about, you know, crowdfunding and the big two names or whatever. Is it something that if you had the opportunity to do a Batman, like a mainstream Batman, you would, or is it something that you just go ahead?
I would jump all over that. Are you kidding?
Well, I didn't know. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually, the closest I ever got was I did, Mad did some variant covers of DC's titles for a couple of years there in April. They were like the April Fool's cover, you know, and so they had Mad artists do a variant cover, and I did Detective Comics one issue, and then the next year I did Batman Superman title. So I did get to draw Batman on in an actual Batman comic.
Nice.
But it was the funny Batman, you know. But I don't know. Actually, for a while there,
You did the book too.
Huh?
Batcave?
Oh yeah. I did a kids book that Mad produced called Goodnight Batcave, which DC published, and that was a fun little project. I kind of did a sort of an exaggerated animated Batman the animated series versions of the characters, but just cartooned them up a bit, and it was a fun project to do. But yeah, no, I'd love to do a Batman project.
And how about you, Desmond? I know you, judging by your origin story, you definitely seem like you were bred and built to do built to do Mad comics.
For better or worse.
Is there a big, is there a big two character that you would love to take on? Maybe even do in a serious role, or maybe even do something like comedic, like a Plastic Man, or something like that.
I've written a few things that aren't really funny, but I mean, 98% of what I've written has been comedy, regardless of whether it's for TV or Mad or I did some funny advertising stuff even. So I guess it'd be in that role. I don't know. I know that like some of the, like Plastic Man you mentioned. I know Kid Eternity. Somebody sort of revived it. Oh, yeah. Maybe take one of the esoteric characters and make something of it. I'd really have to think about it. Like Johnny Thunder or something.
Johnny Thunder's awesome, man.
Yeah, Ma Hinkle. I don't know.
Cool. Now, one question I have for you guys is: has there been anyone that you've wanted to work with over the years, someone that you haven't gotten to work with but would have loved to collaborate on a piece for Mad?
Well,
Mad.
Well, I mean, as a writer, I don't know if all writers do this, but it's definitely when you start writing enough articles, you get the list of like, I got this guy, like you get to have artists you've read your whole life, do the thing. So when I first started Mad, right off the bat I was getting George Woodbridge and Paul Coker and Al Jaffe and Jack Davis, and it was like it was amazing to me. And so most of the top artists I've gotten and to collaborate with in that sense, and the ones I haven't are really the ones who predated me, who either stopped working at Mad before I got there or had passed away before I got there. So I never, so I wrote one cartoon for Don Martin, so that was nice. But I never, like Wally Wood was not there. Let's see who, Norman Mingo was not there. I couldn't think of a cover idea for him. So. Definitely. I mean, there's so many talented people, so many different styles. It's great. You really want to work with all of them.
And your names are synonymous with all of them. Mm-hmm. Like you guys are right there with them. I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah.
I got awesome. It's me and Scala.
Yeah.
Like, it's me and Scala.
Yeah.
Like, we got. It's me and Scala. That's
these are like these esoteric pleasures. Like I wrote the last article Mort Drucker ever drew for Mad. I wrote the last article Paul Coker ever drew for Mad. And it doesn't mean anything. It's just luck of the draw. But it's nice. I have a good feeling, that I was able to give them, their last piece.
Yeah, this has been a great book.
I'd have the same answer that most of the writers I wish I would have worked with were gone by the time I got on board. Like Stan Hart wasn't writing parodies anymore. Right. Lou Silverstone was long gone.
Larry Siegel.
Larry Siegel. I think Frank Jacobs was still doing some work for Mad at the time. I would have loved to have drawn a Frank Jacobs piece. Actually, you know what? I would have loved to have done drawn an Al Jaffe article, because sometimes he would do stuff that other artists would draw. He wrote the Bullet parody of the movie Bullet with Steve McQueen that Mort Drucker did, and that would have been great. Oh yeah, I've drawn lots of Dick DiBartolo parodies. Probably other than Dez, I think Dick was the artist or the writer I worked the most with.
I think Dick probably wrote the most parodies overall in movie and TV of anybody because he lasted longer than anybody and did tons and tons of them. He was so good at it.
Yeah.
I was mentioning Al Jaffe. Al Jaffe was hired as a writer at MAD originally back in the 50s, not as an artist. And eventually, basically, he would draw sketches with the article, with the ideas, and they eventually started to say, well, we could print these. I mean, so it's ridiculous to think of Al Jaffe not drawing for MAD.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
That's incredible, man.
Yeah.
One thing you also made me think of. I wrote one article. It was basically it was like a Disney versions of adult films. Well, there was one adult, but it was like adult films like Pulp Fiction or Silence of the Lambs, things that clashed stylistically with the Disney thing. And I sent them the script, and they liked the idea. They bought the idea, and they said, "Would you mind if we ran your?" There were song parodies, like Disney song parodies, but having to do with gruesome stuff. I said, would you mind if we ran these past Frank Jacobs and see if he had anything to add? I was like, no, I would not mind. And so we ended up getting a co-writer credit on that. And it was like a free class in writing just to like compare what I had written and what he had changed, like bit by bit. I said, here's something he just wiped out what I did, put something better in. And here's something that's like half and half. And here's something where he kept most of it, but put in like 2 lines that were, of course, the best lines. So I mean, that kind of thing was a treat to me. I was not expecting that when I proposed the article in the first place.
God, that reminds me of the Hannibal Lecter 3 Little Pigs. It was the Silence of the Hams.
Yeah,
it's like basically he went and killed and ate all of them. Like it was pretty hilarious.
Yeah, not those kinds of adult films.
Yeah, right.
Like R-rated movies. That's what it is.
TJ James asked, did you guys ever have editorial force a change due to legal saying it's going too far?
Oh, that's a great question.
Well, MAD used to put they had a lawyer and they would list him on the masthead. As I said, the publisher Bill Gaines, editor Al Feldstein, lawyer Jack Albert. And the idea was, if you're going to sue us, here's the guy. Let's get it done. Let's not just wait time to figure out contacts. So they did get sued for things, or they did get complaints about things. I don't think I ever wrote anything that caused a legal fuss. I mean, the favorite story is when Dick DeBartolo and wrote the parody of Star Wars. I think it was the second one. It might have been Empire Strikes Back. And then a couple weeks later, after the issue came out, MAD got a threatening letter from Lucasfilm lawyers, and they said, this is infringement. We want the issue pulled off the stands. You got to give back any profits. We want the original plates destroyed so it can never be reprinted. And what they didn't know was that George Lucas had also sent a letter to MAD saying, this is the greatest thing ever. DeBartolo is like George Bernard Shaw, and Mort Drucker is like Leonardo da Vinci. And so they just photocopied George Lucas's letter, wrote, gee, your boss liked it, and mailed it to the lawyer. And that was it.
Yeah, that's a famous story.
Right.
That's incredible.
And
wow.
Dick has the letter up on the wall of his office. So.
That's awesome. I
never had anything shot down. Well, for all I know, shot down by the lawyers, but I had a few gags nixed by the editors, just saying, I don't think we can get that through. But usually I was just trying to push the envelope, and they were like, nah, that's stepping over the line.
Nice. Now, go ahead. Sorry, Desmond.
I was saying I write a little somewhat more risque than some of the other writers, and so they would sometimes cut those lines, but they always said, no, write it all, and we'll decide what we can print. So, don't worry about the line. We'll figure out.
Better to ask for forgiveness than permission. Forgiveness than permission.
Now, if Claptrap, will be successful, you will be funded, and I'm sure you guys will hopefully do some more stuff like this. But if this really starts to take off, right? If this really starts grabbing those readers that are missing, that classic MAD, the MAD parodies and stuff, could you foresee yourself in the future? Have you guys ever talked about, hey, if this is successful, what's our 5-year plan? What's our 10-year plan? Do we bring in other writers, other creators to work with us, or even other, different articles and things in this book?
I don't know. We haven't really thought much past this book, to be quite frank with you. This is going to be a big undertaking, and I know we'll be able to do it, but once it's done and we've fulfilled it, and we're gonna maybe think about the problem, of course, with doing something of this nature is that by the time the book is published, even if we do current movies, they'll have been out for 6 months or forever. So there's no way to do it timely. If we wanted to do something like that, we would have to go to a digital publishing model that we would publish it online, maybe I don't know,
subscription based or something.
Yeah.
Well, this is where the pandemic works in your favor. Like there's not, they're pushing all the movies back to end of 2021, so.
Right.
Or they're bringing them straight to, now the rumor is, what is it? Wonder Woman 84? Yeah, 1984 is going to maybe head to HBO Max or something.
And Tenet is coming to VOD, I think, at the end of the month.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that actually did come out though, right? Because
they tried it.
It did horrible in the box office.
I heard it's a good movie, though.
But yeah, I heard it was incredible.
So it's not a review of the movie; it was a review of the COVID virus.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we don't lose our movie theaters over this, because it's always nice to go out, and actually go to the movies and watch a movie, and feel that sticky floor. I love that sticky floor.
Well, if we feel like there's a real market for this, that there's enough people that will want to have us do more work like this, we'll do more work like this. And we know a lot of mad artists that would be capable of joining in, and maybe doing a few other things. We don't want to do our version of Mad. We'd be doing something different, but I mean, this I think people, everybody loves movies and everybody loves humor, so how does that not really work for most people?
Yeah, what's great about what I've noticed, and I mean, this is probably true on many fronts, but just because we are huge fans of Indiegogo, how they're structured, what they do, I think it's a perfect platform for comic book creators, graphic novel creators, anyone that's doing the media of writing and drawing and stuff like that, because that in-demand feature is just key. It's great to keep selling your product while you're finishing your product, instead of just being cut off at a certain point. And what's really cool about Indiegogo, and there's your brand loyalty. There's people that, I won't back Indiegogo because of this, and I won't back Kickstarter because of this.
We've heard of that.
And the divide of everything. But there's a difference I have seen with Indiegogo, is that the backers on Indiegogo truly just love escapism. They love entertainment. They love comics. They love the things they grew up with. They're not huge on like the change of many things. So bringing this type of humor that we all, I mean, if you were a comic book fan, more than not, you were a Mad Magazine, Cracked fan, all that stuff. I mean, I still have all my Mads. I have everything. I even have my Married with Children comic books, which I wish I could grab right now to show. But I have no clue which box. There's like 18 boxes there, and I have no clue which one it's in. But I do know I have at least like 2 or 3 issues.
Well,
you want me to send them to you?
No, that's all right. In my defense, not only was I a kid, but also Paramount, who did that show, wouldn't allow me to do real caricatures of Katie Seagal or Christine Applegate.
Weird.
Yeah, they didn't care. They didn't care how I made Ed O'Neill look. I could make his nose as big as I wanted. The guy who played Bud. I can't remember the actor's name at the break. They didn't care how I drew him.
David Faustino.
David Faustino. Yeah. Didn't care how I drew him, but they were picky about how big I drew Katie Seagal's nose, and so I did like these kind of cartoon versions of them that weren't really caricatures. So it was a little weird.
I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. I mean, still to this day, I think you did a pretty good job.
That answers the corporate restriction question that for a minute
I had the same problem on the Coneheads, actually. I was allowed to do likenesses of Dan Aykroyd and Jane Curtin and Dave McKeon. Who else was in that movie? I could not do. Jason Alexander refused to allow us to do likenesses of him. So I couldn't draw him, and the lady that played his wife, who I can't remember her name right now, I couldn't draw likenesses of her either. So I had these, pretty decent caricatures of Dan Aykroyd, and then
Lorraine Newman.
Yeah, this guy who who looked nothing like Jason Alexander standing next to him. And I'm sure people are going, wow, this guy just can't draw Jason Alexander. What's the problem? It's not that hard to draw, but hands were tied.
Did you ever try to do any other stuff for now? Like when they had Terminator and Speed Racer and Ghostbusters?
I did a cover for one of their other titles, a Ralph Snart, Mr. Lizard spinoff or something. Yeah. But no, all I ever did for them was Married with Children. Yeah, I know they had the Terminator books. They had were really big, and then they did Mr. T and the T-Force also.
Oh, dude, absolutely! They had the shiny gold cover.
Yeah, and I did my very first experience at San Diego Comic-Con. I went there and I sat at the Now table, and Mr. T was at the Now table sitting right next to me. And if you want your nerves reduced to to just a bundle of wires that are sizzling, sit next to Mr. T for about 5 hours, man. That guy, he's got a motor that just does not stop.
Oh,
he pities the fool. I don't know if you know that.
Oh my God. He had all of his gold all around him. And one of the things was a solid gold knife, fork, and spoon, like full size ones. And then he'd yell at people as they come by and say, "You can call me Clever, you can call me Mr. T, you can call me, but just don't call me late for dinner." And then he'd hold up his utensil. He used that. He said that joke like about 1,000 times that weekend. Oh my God!
Yeah, that's awesome.
You got to use that for the book.
We might.
There you go.
Use that
in the book.
Nice. Well, hey guys, thank you. I gotta say thank you so much for coming on. This is so
pleasure.
Cool. We
so
absolutely love what you're doing. I mean, I think after the show, I think Blevins has a game to play. With our buddy Sean.
Yeah, I got
Chown.
I brought my a MAD Magazine.
Nice.
Old school MAD Magazine board game.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. You lose all your money to win that game.
Right.
Yes, you do.
Definitely. But I had my Spy versus Spy Nintendo game around here somewhere, but I don't know where I put it. I set it down and now it's gone.
Uh-oh.
I think Sean stole it.
Sean got it.
Sean stole it. But hey, good luck, guys. So Frank Amazing, one of our producers on the show, he's very good every morning. He has his cup of coffee. He reflects on his life because it's horrible, and he posts on Twitter and Facebook and everything promoting campaigns. So we're gonna make sure that this is in our regular rotation. We'll help encourage people to check it out. To back this book, it's great. I will definitely be backing this myself after the show. I think it's awesome. I love Matt. I love what you're doing. I'm a fan. Desmond, I've been a fan of yours for a long time. I know who you are. Tom, same thing. Like I said, when I saw you guys on here, I was like, what are they doing? I got to get them on the show. I mean, this is great. Very excited for this. And everyone out there, you should be too. So when you get a chance, check out Claptrap, help spread the word, and good luck with everything, guys. It's been a blast having you on, talking to you. And you are so more than welcome to come on the show anytime you want. If you want to come back on, in a couple of weeks, towards the end of the campaign, if you want to come on for a little bit to promote some more, by all means, feel free to. Or if you just want to come and hang out because you need a break from the drawing table or the computer, whatever you're writing on. Desmond, I don't know what you write on. A wooden tablet with the ink.
Ding, ding, ding.
He has a Gutenberg press.
He writes he puts it all. It's like 10010. He's just like,
well, thank you for having us on. It's been a blast. You guys,
man, it's definitely an honor for me to be here. Man, you guys are legends. I mean, absolutely legends.
Oh,
we all, the two of us remember when we first started it, man. It's gruesome that we're legends now.
Man, legendary. What's up?
Legendary. But so thanks so much for coming on, and thank you so much for the people in the chat that participated. You had some great questions.
Especially you, Mob Seat. We saw
Mob Seat as always.
We saw you doing Night at the Apollo over there in the chat.
Yeah, he was.
He was on it tonight.
And for anyone out there that's new to the channel, thank you for joining us. And please, if you like what you've seen tonight, we have, well over 200 episodes in our year and a half or a little more that we've been doing this channel. And,
Wow.
Please subscribe, click the bell to get notifications when we upload videos or go live. And I will be inviting you guys back on again because I have so many more questions. I have so many more things I want to know. And I know so many people that are like messaging me like, dude, I'm seeing this. I want to come on, and you've got a lot of fans out there, guys. So this is really cool. Very cool.
Well, anytime. We'd love to come back.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And everyone, we'll be back on tomorrow night at 9 p.m. We have the great legendary man, the Eisner Inkpot Mucka Gem Speakeasy Golden Lion Award winner, Mr. Mark Wheatley.
I'm pretty sure he won the All Valley Under 18.
I think he did.
Yeah, karate championship.
His great hair too. And so he will be on the show tomorrow night. Now, he did something really cool. Now, Mark has done all media. I mean, he's done stuff for television, movies, his graphic novels, his other art pieces. He's a musician. He's an animator. So he took everything that he's done, his stories and stuff, he animated them to the original songs. And he created soundtracks and theme music to his, graphic novels and stories. And he wants to premiere 2 of them on the show tomorrow night. So hopefully you all will join us. It will be a Poptober episode as we'll be checking out Witch of Everwen and Dracula Suite with The Change. So we hope you guys tune in tomorrow night. And again, gentlemen, thank you so much. Blevins, as always, it's a pleasure.
Dude,
Thank you.
Someday, Blevins,
mine, dude, for sure.
we will be legendary as well.
Oh yes,
not,
one day it will be. We'll just have to will it. We'll have to will it into the existence like you guys.
I got to throw on the bat suit. I think there's a supervillain incident down in downtown Burnsville, so got to go.
All right, have a good one. All right, thank you guys. Have a good night.
Bye.
Hey everyone. Thank you for joining us on POPXP. If you haven't already, make sure to click that subscribe button and also click the bell for notifications when we go live and we upload some awesome new content. Also, don't forget to head on over to Twitter and follow us at the POPXP and over on Instagram at the POPXP. Thanks again, everyone, and we'll see you soon.